A big thanks to Burnhard for sponsoring this video. I found a cut of beef that could be the next big thing of low and slow barbecue. I'm talking about this. This is the oyster blade. If you never heard of the oyster blade before, then maybe you've heard of the flat iron steak. And that flat iron steak sits right here. There's actually two of them in here. One at the top and one at the bottom. And they're separated by a big piece of silver skin. And the great thing about this steak is that it has a lot of intramuscular fat. So that could potentially mean it's really good for doing low and slow. And as a matter of fact, this is one of the most popular cuts you can have for Dutch stews. So why don't we put it on the smoker and cook it low and slow? Let's give it a try. This is a beautiful Aberdeen black oyster blade. It has a fat cap with a silver skin laying underneath, and it has a good amount of intramuscular fat and a lot of silver skin in the middle. First thing that I want to do is trim off the silver skin that sits on the bottom. That's just going to prevent all the spices that I want to put onto it to penetrate the meat and build up a beautiful crust of flavor. On the top side, I'm going to score the fat cap and the silver skin. Now I want this to stay on, but at the same time I want the salt that I'm going to put on it to penetrate the meat. Once the oyster blade is prepped, it's time to make a nice tasty beef rub. Starting with 2 tablespoons of fine salt, a tablespoon of ground black pepper, a tablespoon of onion powder, and half a tablespoon of garlic powder. Mix that up, rub the oyster blade with mustard, except for the fat cap, and then sprinkle the rub on the fat cap and on the mustard side. And I'm gonna be cooking my oyster blade on the Burnhard flint smoker. I'm gonna load it up with some hickory pellets, switch it on and set it to smoke at a temperature of 140 degrees Celsius. I'm gonna place my oyster blade in with the fat cap down and with the thickest part towards the hottest part of the barbecue. I'm gonna stick in my thermometer in the thickest part. That way I can keep a track of my temperature at all times. Now I'm gonna close the lid and let the barbecue do its job. The oyster blade has been smoking for 3 hours. And I wanted to say that's the time you're gonna check in, but look at this thing. It looks absolutely fantastic. And if the bark looks like this, you know it picked up a good amount of smoke flavor and it's time to wrap it up so we can speed a little bit of the cooking process up, but at the same time save some of that moisture that sits in the oyster blade. So I'm gonna get out my butcher's paper, put the oyster blade in, wrap it up, and make sure you get it nice and tight, and then stick the thermometer back in, put the whole thing back in the barbecue and let it continue to smoke. I just got the notification from my phone that the meat is done. I cooked it to 92 degrees Celsius core temperature. And after a bit of resting, it's time to unwrap it. You still gotta be careful because this was 92 degrees Celsius. Look at how juicy this is. Oh my, woo! Wow. Ooh, that is so juicy. And of course I'm using my forged carving knife to get the best cuts. Oh, that is so beautiful looking. Now you can clearly see all that silver skin that normally sits inside turned into collagen. And that's what makes this really tender and tasty. Of course I'm going to be saving those juices for gravy. These slices are insane, still hot. But we got a beautiful smoke ring and look at, it's perfect to pull. It's like really, really tender and it's really hot.
I want to slice into it. You know, every time we got a new cut and it's already sliced, I still have that urge. I gotta slice it. Ooh, that's soft. That's so baby soft. All right, here we go.
I'm gonna take a piece and eat it like it is. Oh,
Oh man. That's incredibly soft.
And honestly, in the beginning, when I was making this, I was thinking like, I shouldn't be putting too much rub on. I was really going at it, I was thinking like, maybe not too much. But now, when I'm eating it, The crust is really good, but there could be a little bit more rub on.
And it kind of still, I mean, I know it sounds logic, but it kind of still reminds me of that, I'm lost for words. Flat iron steak. I know the flat iron is in it. I can also taste it. This is just an incredible rub. Wait, I totally forgot about the gravy.
A little bit with that gravy. Dare I say it? Better than brisket. Oh, it's good, right? Is it better than brisket? In your opinion?
Yeah, and I kind of like the bark as it is. No more rub.
More rub?
I don't know what it is with this bark, but it's a sticky kind of bark. There's something about that bark. It's not completely the same as a brisket bark. I like it more.
But there's a lot of collagen inside.
That's what I love.
You love that, right? I love it too. But I can imagine that there are people that don't love that. And it's kind of like tough luck.
Yeah, go for another recipe. We got also brisket recipes.
But if you had to choose this or brisket?
This.
Because this is very easy to order in the Netherlands. This is called sucade, and every butcher has this on hand. It's not as expensive as brisket. It's smaller. It's more of like a portion that you can use for your family and friends when they come over. You don't end up with a big pack of brisket that you have a lot of leftover with, which is not a bad situation, of course, but you don't have to buy, so you don't have the expense.
It's more economic.
It's more economic, that's right.
And these are hard times.
Oh.
Well, I don't have a hard time right now.
Let's not complain right now. No, with gravy. Our gravy is golden.
Perfect. I'm gonna head out, make room for a new recipe.
All right. Thank you for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed the show, and if you did, then leave us a big thumbs up and a comment down below. Big thank you to our YouTube members. Hope to see you guys next time. Until then,
Eetsmakelijk.
and keep on grilling. And watch the next video. Ta-da!